Okay, so I wanted to make this late night talking point. It's like 5 a.m., but I don't care. I wanted to make this late night talking point about the DMC and God of War franchise and all the comparing and contrasting and the fandom wars that spawn from it every time these two games are mentioned in the same sentence. I cannot really understand where people come from outside of just comparing these two because they're hack and slash games and that's it. Really, outside of that, DMC and God of War has nothing in common outside of being hack and slash franchises. That's it. They both went in their totally different directions for better or worse, because everyone who knows me, everyone who talked to me before, they know that I really think that God of War 2018 is a regression in gameplay in every step of the way compared to the older God of War games. That is a fact in my mind. I cannot really see anything in that game from a gameplay perspective trumping what the original series did. I just can't. I can't see it. If you think otherwise, that's cool. I just don't see it. I think that the lack of not jumping, I think that the combat being a bit more slower, really slower, I think that the whole over the shoulder camera angle really does not help. But for like hack and slash, I don't think they perfected those just yet. I think you really need some good FOV to make a good hack and slash game and make it in depth if you're going to do it over the shoulder. I just haven't really felt like this style has been perfected yet, and it's totally understandable. You know, I like I said, I think it was okay. I think the story in God of War 2018 and the cinematics, it kept me interested in the characters as well, but I don't think it was good gameplay wise. DMC's case, it's like, I love the gameplay. It's like the polar opposite. I love the gameplay. I love the mechanics. I love everything they keep adding. I love Sin DT. I think that was perfect. The only thing that bothers me about Devil May Cry is that I feel like DMC 3 onwards, I feel like the story is taking a tipping point out of the window a little bit, because now, I mean, applause to Insuno for trying, but now he's trying to establish a new protagonist, which is Nero, and it feels like the Sons of Sparta, it feels like they are becoming Dragon Ball Z levels in terms of arcs, because now we have a problem just like Dragon Ball Z, where Goku and the Saiyans, they were the most important thing back then. I feel like the same thing is happening to DMC, where it feels like the Spartas are the most important thing, and the side characters like Lady and Trish and all these other new characters are getting thrown to the side just because of this. And I hope that they introduce something new to shake up the formula with DMC 6. Otherwise, I'm going to be disappointed in the story again. Like, it's just really predictable at this rate with 5. I see that it was just fan service, but still, I wish that the characterization was at least on par as DMC 3, and so far it hasn't been on par with DMC 3, with DMC 4 and 5. That being said, it's still a fun time. No matter what you say, no matter what I say, it's still a fun time regardless to play those games gameplay wise, because they are immaculate. They are perfect in almost every way to me. I can't really think of many flaws, maybe outside of V not being that great, but this is late night rambling. I'm just all over the place with this. If you want to watch like all the DMC critiques that I make with DMC 5, you can watch my review obviously in the description below. When the comparisons come out about these two particular franchises, I feel like there is grains of truth. I feel like there is also misinformation, and I feel like some people are also being misguided. And what I mean by this is, when I'll talk about the grains of truth first. So I think when people say that DMC feels like your impact, you're hitting an enemy, doesn't feel as raw as God of War, I kind of agree with this. I kind of agree that God of War being the gory game and limbs flying off and shit and all this cool stuff, and you're able to jump on a guy and like rip his torso out and rip his ass out and tear him apart with your bare hands, I believe that is a bit more engaging in combat compared to Devil May Cry. That's not to say that DMC is bad, just that violent, bloody, visceral feel that brings out the M rating. I think that's like awesome when they do that. I like that when they explained God of War, they mentioned that it was mostly DMC and Mortal Kombat trying to make a baby, and I like that stuff. It feels like when you hit something in DMC, it has impact, sure, it just doesn't feel as violent as it should should be. You're mostly just doing it for style, as usual. There's a few touches of visceral edge when you explode an enemy in Sin DT, or when you do like sort of real impact gauntlet style moves, but it doesn't feel like something that was from Ninja Gaiden, where you're like obliterating dudes from piece to piece. That's what I always loved about Ninja Gaiden and God of War, respectively, over DMC. God of War's criticisms from DMC fans mostly stems from it being too easy to them, too button mashy. You're just mostly, I don't know, I don't get this whole argument anyway in the first place when people say a hack and slash is way too button mashy, I guess. I mean, I guess if you're doing like numerous QTEs just mashing the button constantly, then I can see that sort of mash aspect. But God of War, you can't beat every boss with just button mashing. It is easy in some respects when you say it's just square, square, triangle, and you can defeat some of the bigger enemies like the Minotaurs easy that way by keeping them off base, rolling back, square, square, triangle, do that heavy, and then you'll get the prompt to jump on them and, you know, stab them with the Blaze of Chaos. I do think that is prominent because I did that before. I did that before in my hard mode playthrough of God of War 1. I was struggling, Minotaurs came out, I just sat back, square, square, triangle, roll, square, square, triangle, roll, square, square, triangle. I had no health, and then they gave me the prompt, and then I stabbed them. It was like just as easy as they said it was going to be. Though you cannot beat every enemy like this, you can't beat every boss like this, especially try to do that on Hades in God of War 3 on the hardest difficulty. You are going to get completely destroyed. Like you're just gonna get bodied, fam. Alternatively, as much as I like the story for the God of War games, it does get a little bit samey when DMC guys complain and criticize that Kratos mostly is a character that does not have great development between the God of War games. I think this is true for God of War 2 and 3. It's mostly the same, fam. I'm angry that the gods did me dirty in God of War 2, and then God of War 3 is like, I'm angry that the gods did me dirty. And the first one, we have to say, is kind of interesting because we had the world events already established and the characters know about him and they fear Kratos, but we don't, and we're trying to figure out what makes this guy so bad as the Ghost of Sparta. What atrocities did he commit to have all these people be scared of him or fear him, etc. And I think that was really done well. I think God of War 2018, they did a good job on establishing that Kratos, out of all the dumb choices he's made, he finally made a good choice to be a positive role model for his son. And I thought that was also cool as well. But like getting back to the point, then we have the crazy criticisms like the games are trash, or in between, like the games are garbage, I don't like them just because. And I think people just say that to justify their preference on the matter, which is really not a valid sort of argument when you really try to break it down. Like, why do you not like something? Is it really legitimately an issue every time we try to talk about it? And is there really any gameplay problems or concerns? When God of War 2018 came out, I think that was the boom. I think that was when a lot of it's mostly just the PlayStation community, like the diehard extremist Sony fanboys, constantly filleting God of War 2018 as the greatest game ever because it's a 94 on Metacritic. And honestly, from what I played, that gameplay scores are subjective, my man. I mean, everyone's gonna have their personal taste on each and every singular video game that comes out, and that game is honestly not a 94 to me gameplay wise. I think this is the case of the fan base perpetuating all of these arguments together when the developers are the most nicest, kindest people when you really think about it. Like Cory Barlog, he puts DMC5 over, he marks out for that, he puts that on the map each and every single time on Twitter. He really enjoyed that game from what I saw in tweets, and he really just sort of broke down that stereotype that no, Sony Santa Monica, they really have no animosity towards Capcom at all. If anything, they are quite they're mostly inspired by their work as well. David Jaffe, he said that God of War is not as technical as Devil May Cry. The men, they said it themselves, they love this series, or they said that DMC has a wider breadth of combat, so to speak, in some sort of regard. I also agree with Jaffe that when trying to decipher what is the better game, that will always be a subjective opinion no matter what. And also, we really just are muddling the comparing and contrasting sort of avenue, right? We are muddling this like hardcore. When comparing and contrasting something, for me, I always try to compare what it has in common, and I always try to talk about what is different. I never try to downplay one or the other, and if I like something better than the other one, that's subjectivity. And I think people sort of take that as well, and they use that to weaponize against the God of War fanboys in arguments. And it's gonna happen. This is just gonna happen. The DMC guys will do this, and there will be just that twist and tirade in the community of folks saying they want to be right, they want to show and illustrate these points, and these guys said this and this is why. And I'm like, I am the type of guy that just loves both for what they are. This is mostly fandom wars. This is mostly just some purists and elitists trying to get in a shouting match, and they have this done all the time. Each time it's brought up, along with the PlayStation fanboys not making it any better. And I think it's okay to love both. I love both franchises for what they do, for what they accomplish. I think God of War is a great Western hack and slash, and I think DMC is a great Eastern hack and slash that began this whole revolution of popularizing the hack and slash genre, since it was the first, and making all these games have this inspiration to rejuvenate the formula and innovate and have other developers come out and give their own 2 cents and their own takes on the formula with Bayonetta and Ninja Gaiden and all this other stuff. So why can't we be grateful of what spawned hack and slash? Why can't we be happy for other hack and slash games that has positives to them? But I forgot it's 2020, so people mostly want to focus on the negative. I just like both, man. You can't make me hate on one or the other, and I think that each franchise, they have their criticisms here or there to be addressed. I'm not East versus West. I just want good games, and that's it. This is Renegade Operative signing off. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this discussion on DMC versus God of War and what I think of the fandom wars that happen ever so often. I think the developers do not feel this way. I think that even Capcom, I think they said something to Corey or like this tweet or something. They don't fight at all. It's mostly just the fans going against each other head to head with this comparison. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy classic God of War. I'm gonna sit here and enjoy DMC as well. So there's my stance. It's okay to like both. Why can't I have both? That's how I feel. That's honestly, I wish more people thought like that, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be people that do in the comment section, and I welcome you guys to come in at any time. Those folks that can sit down and realize the positives and the negatives of their own franchise that they rep while loving another one in the process, and what hack and slash did for this particular genre and how interesting it is to play. I just love shit like that. It's awesome, man. Anyway, if you loved it, you know how it is. Support me, slap a like, slap a comment, subscribe, tell me what you thought of the video, and I will see you guys next time for the next horizon. Take care, enjoy yourselves, and once again, laters. Be good people. Also, PS, bring back air combos for God of War PS5. Please, you're killing me. You're killing me, God of War 2018. You're killing me here. You need to go back and bring back those Blaze of Chaos air combos, the combos in the air, the Helio spin. You need to bring all that crazy stuff back into God of War 20 something, since it's going to be on PS5 if they do it continuing forward and do something with the technology, or give us a damn FOV slider, please give us that, because I want to see everything around me. This is why I hate OTS hack and slash games. I just want to see what the hell is behind me. That's it. Or have me do more radial attacks or more rotational attacks to hit these enemies on the sides or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, give me something, man. Damn.